Almost 1 year into her reign, it looks like Australian-born Queen Mary of Denmark may be ascending to a prestigious new role. The Danish Queen announced this week that her charity, the Mary Foundation, is launching a podcast called Lonely Youth. The 3-part series, inspired by Denmark's high rates of youth loneliness, promises to give an in-depth insight by mixing expert analysis and personal narratives from young people. Though we don't yet know if she will feature in each episode, Queen Mary announced the news via Instagram, pointing out that a recent study found 73% of Danes, aged 16 to 19, experience loneliness, and 17% of those between 16 to 24 feel very lonely. These are heavy numbers that we need to do something about, the post read. At first glance, it might seem strange that a 52-year-old monarch would be the go-to person to reach disconnected youth, and stranger still that they would do so via a medium often associated with influencers, true crime detectives, and young men in basements. But this is actually the latest in a long line of royal podcasting projects. And no, it didn't start with Meghan Markle. Dr. Lisa Beckett, a lecturer at the University of New England, researching royalty and popular culture, says it was only a matter of time before royal family members entered the podcast market. Royals tend to be later than everybody else entering these spaces, but engaging in new mediums is one of the ways they stay relevant. And as a kind of celebrity, this kind of direct contact with audiences is expected of them. Queen Elizabeth could get away with quite a bit of distance because she started her reign so long ago, but the younger royals are expected to act more modern and to be in this space. That distance between celebrities and fans has been shrinking, particularly with social media. India Hicks, goddaughter of King Charles, was the first notable name to get in on the action. The India Hicks podcast, which debuted in 2019, offered a wonderfully intimate look into her life and her extraordinary family. It consisted of conversations about movie stars, matadors and maharajas with her mother, Lady Pamela Hicks, the late Queen Elizabeth's former lady-in-waiting. A few years later, Princess Eugenie co-hosted Floodlight, an interview podcast about modern slavery made with her charity, the Anti-Slavery Collective. Then came Meghan Markle's Archetypes. In this much-hyped 2022 series, the Duchess of Sussex spoke to some of the biggest names in popular culture, including Mariah Carey, Paris Hilton, and Serena Williams about the labels that try to hold women back. The following year, Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, debuted a chat podcast with her friend Sarah Thompson, and Queen Camilla launched the Queen's Reading Room podcast. The latter, an extension of her literacy charity of the same name, features interviews with authors and prominent book lovers such as Dame Joanna Lumley and Richard E. Grant. But Camilla is only featured for a couple of minutes per episode. Though podcasts are an intimate medium, as Dr. Beckett points out, they also enable royals to maintain a great deal of control, certainly more so than in a traditional TV interview. They have to be careful because they've tried different tactics like this. In 1969, Queen Elizabeth actually allowed for a documentary of her home life. It was broadcast on the BBC once, then she realized it was a mistake. It let people in too much into her personal life, and she actually banned it from being ever played again. Decades later, it was leaked on YouTube. In 1987, younger members of the British royal family also competed in the TV game show It's a Royal Knockout, alongside celebrities, running around in costumes doing obstacle courses for charity. People thought it was a disaster. Royals are not like other celebrities. They have to act a certain way and maintain certain standards, but at the same time be normal enough that we relate to them. The most successful of the bunch is undoubtedly Meghan Markle's Archetypes. The show debuted in the top spot on Spotify in Britain, the US, Canada, Ireland, India, Australia, and New Zealand. But it also lost a lot of steam by the end of the season. And Meghan and Harry mutually agreed to leave Spotify soon after. Their initial deal reportedly cost $38.5 million, and the Wall Street Journal reported the couple had failed to meet productivity benchmarks to justify the sum, though their 2020 agreement promised a multi-year partnership to produce podcasts and shows, but nothing else materialized. Bloomberg reported that Harry had pitched a number of ideas, including a show in which he interviewed controversial guests such as Vladimir Putin, Mark Zuckerberg, and Donald Trump about their early formative years. Celebrating their exit from the company, Spotify executive Bill Simmons went so far to call the pair effing grifters on his own podcast. He had also previously criticized Prince Harry, saying, "Why are we listening to you? Nobody cares what you have to say about anything unless you talk about the royal family, and you just complain about them." Dr. Beckett believes it is a good thing, however, when royals publicly lend themselves to causes. Whether it's Princess Eugenie with modern slavery, or Queen Mary with youth loneliness, or, historically, Princess Diana with AIDS. When they get involved, it really gives the charity or the cause a lot of support and a lot of attention, she says. At the very least, she adds, it gets the attention of the media. If you found this interesting, please give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Check out my playlist Royal Family News and latest on UK royals for more great content. And if you want, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Your support means the world to me.